Hello, I'm Scott Sylvan Bell coming to you live from Oahu. It is April 25th, 2015, 8:51 in the morning. We're talking about common questions that managers have for me. And one of the most common questions that I get is how do I motivate my salespeople? And you know, this can be a trap because a lot of times salespeople who can't motivate themselves are really tough to deal with because they really don't have an internal drive to do what they need to have done. And they're probably better off being in a job where they're making an hourly wage versus making commission. And so, you know, as it stacks out, if you have 10 salespeople, you're gonna have 10 salespeople, 20 salespeople. This is the way it typically plays out. You have 10 salespeople in a group, one of them is really good. 3 of them are just like trailing behind the really good guy. 2 of them should be fired, they should be gotten rid of. And then the other couple, the other 4 that are in the middle, they're gonna be in the middle of the pack, and they're gonna stay in the middle of the pack. They're gonna be the type of guy who says, what's wrong with making $80,000 a year when the industry average is like 100? Or what's wrong with making $100,000 a year when the industry average is like 150? Like they just don't get it. They're like, so you have the 2 guys down here who should be fired, the 4 right here who are in the middle, and they're always gonna stay in the middle. And then you're gonna have like roughly 3 who are chasing the top dog out of a group of 10. But this guy who's at the top is usually really disproportionately higher than everybody else. And this guy's usually a diva, a complainer, very needy, right? And they think that way, the salespeople typically think that way because they're making the sales and they're the guy who's bringing in the bread, right? So just understand that that's normal for a top guy to be a complainer, a whiner, needy, shows up late to everything, causes a lot of problems, but they think they can get away with it because they make all the sales, right? So the other 3 guys look at this guy and they get irritated with him and they're like, I want to do what he's doing, but he's a jerk. So it's a common question of how do you motivate salespeople? Some of them can't be motivated. And you know, a lot of times when you're looking at somebody, if they don't have goals, one of the things to talk about is goals and goal setting and talk to that person and reinforce how important those goals are. But once again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. A lot of times I work with salespeople and I can tell right from the very beginning, and I'll do everything I can to work with them, but right from the very beginning, they're not in it. This isn't their game. You know, their game is football and we're playing basketball, or their game is hockey and we're playing football. Whatever analogy you want to use, it's just not what they do, and they're just not built and they don't have the right personality. Okay, so for some people you can't motivate them, for some people you can. Now, sometimes people will tell me, well, what about a contest? Well, you know, the thing about a contest is it does make people compete, and then you see how they really can sell. So here's the thing to pay attention to. When you have a contest, pay attention to how well the people sell when there is one versus when there isn't one, and look at what they're using for their goal or for their anchor. Like they have their anchor right here. Look for what they're using as their goal or anchor and see what you could do to talk to them about their goals in the future to get them motivated to do this again without having to have a contest. But you know, for the cost of what it is for a prize for a lot of the contests that managers put on, I mean, if you're selling a $10,000 product and you have a $500 prize, I mean, there's plenty of people who are going to compete for that, and you're looking at, shoot, I mean, like what, 2.5% of the cost of whatever that product is, or 5%. It's Saturday morning on Oahu, 5% of the cost. You know, it's just like there's probably money built in with whatever the product or widget, the gizmos you have to sell is, but that's how you motivate salespeople. And so sometimes, last of all, sometimes that motivation of somebody being fired is enough motivation for them to know that they need to sell something. So that threat of being fired sometimes will kick people in the butt and get them going. But you know, there's a problem if you have a guy or a girl who like sells, doesn't sell, gets a kick in the butt, sells, doesn't sell, then needs to get kicked in the butt. There's a problem with that person. They're not internally motivated, and you're gonna have a tough time with them, and it's gonna be like babysitting, okay? So be careful with that. Now, if you could do a small favor for me in the box down below, leave a comment, question, or story, that'd be fantastic. To the right or to the left, there is a subscribe button. Subscribe, and then send it out to all your friends via StumbleUpon, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Scott Sylvan Bell. Only Scott Bell, Seminole. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Aloha.